Down Syndrome Ireland is running My Opinion, My Vote political education programmes across the country through our branch network. The My Opinion, My Vote political education programme aims to empower adults with Down syndrome through active citizenship and participation in the political process. The education programme is a product of the Pan-European My Opinion, My Vote research project. The project includes researchers from 6 European countries and was led by AIPD and Dr. Paolo Volturini of the Italian Association. The project involved research with 120 adults with intellectual disability in these 6 European countries. Interviews were conducted with these adults at the outset of the project, and these interviews were designed to ascertain what their experience of participating in the political process was. Those same 120 students were then followed throughout the life of the project. They participated in the education programme that we wrote, and they influenced that programme and the revisions and editing of that programme. Those students were then interviewed at the very end of the project, having completed the education programme, and it was surmised from that research that the education programme had been effective in empowering those students with respect to active citizenship and participation in the political process. A survey was also conducted in these 6 European countries to identify examples of best practice teaching methodologies with respect to teaching students with intellectual disability. People with Down syndrome can often be excluded from the political process, and yet they represent a group in society who are often most influenced by the political decisions that are made. The barriers we identified in the project for adults with intellectual disability were with respect to the accessibility of information about politics. Often this information is quite complex and difficult for adults with intellectual disability to understand. A second barrier is that people with Down syndrome are often not recognised as equal members of the electorate, and so their opinions are not sought. The My Opinion, My Vote political education programme comprises of 10 modules. These modules include forming a personal and independent opinion, politics, delegation and representation, participation in interest groups, political parties and trade unions, political parties and electoral programmes, voting procedures, local public authorities, national authorities, parliament and government, Europe, and referendums and petitions. Today, we are in IT Tralee, where our Kerry branch runs the My Opinion, My Vote political education programme. There are 16 adults with Down syndrome in the class. They are taught by their key teacher, Peggy O'Shea, and she is supported by her tutors, Michelle and Sinead. Students come here 1 day a week to study My Opinion, My Vote, and they come here a second day to continue with their Latch-On adult literacy programme.
Group work enables them to express their opinions, in a non-threatening way in the smaller group. And once they realise that in the smaller group that they're capable of forming their opinion and giving their opinions, then that gives them more confidence when they're asked to stand in front of the full class. So we had to enable them to run a meeting by teaching them that there are different roles in this small meeting, that there's the role of the facilitator, which they all seem to love, and then there's the role of the writer and the role of the reporter. And the fact that the facilitator first job is to ensure that everybody feels comfortable and that everybody gets a say. It means that those maybe who may not be very well able to speak are still listened to. And, for their later life, then I think it's important, no matter in what situation they would arrive at in a care situation, that they would realise that they would have an opinion and that they would have a responsibility to themselves to express that opinion, and that they would not allow others to make all their decisions for them. Very important to empower them for their future lives in whatever situation they find themselves. Interested in hearing news topics on the television, they come in and talk about them. I don't think we would have had that at the start of the year in September, where they would have spoken about anything rather than a soap. And as well as that, those people who would always have answered me with just one word, they're now saying a little bit more, and some of them will come up to me and ask me questions who would have never ever asked me anything before. I would hope that their reading and writing and computer skills have improved as well. It's quite fulfilling and rewarding for a teacher to see they all want to learn and they all want to partake in the activities in the MOTE programme. And they're interested, from their reactions to the photographs, I can see that they're quite interested in a lot of the issues, in some more than others. And I would see the involvement particularly of the students who have speech and language difficulties and who have difficulties with writing, we'll say, that they still want to express their opinions about these various topics, and they want to get their voices heard, whether it be through role play or mime or drawing, that they want to get their ideas across and their opinions and their reactions to life situations. And, they like looking at some of the political programs on the television, some of the Dáil debates. They were interested in those, and they would give you their reaction to them. So I can see progress in their involvement with the program.
In this course, it's a one-year course, and it's about politics and Morse, about my opinion, my force, and learning about the political parties and the education of it.
And what are you studying, Cathal?
We're studying about Morse and my opinion, my vote.
Politics is important because different TDs from different counties come to door canvassing, and we like to talk to them and get their opinions on the election.
I name out the names for you now. You've Mary Flynn, Brendan, Cathal and Claire. 3 people picked child safety. 2 people picked better healthcare and environment.
Because of the fact that we will be going on to learn about the manifestos and the ideas of the different political parties in Ireland, I wanted to ensure before we began that they understood what the issues were and that they understood the words that the media uses in relation to these issues. So with the help of the photographs, we organised the issues into 10 categories, and we allowed the students to choose a picture at random and describe the picture and say their reaction to the picture, and then to say which one of the 10 political issues that it belonged to. It was an explicit teaching of vocabulary with multi-sensory teaching techniques. You have to look through what you have prepared and see, will it appeal to all the students in your class? Some students are more musical, other students have to move around, the body kinesthetic intelligence. If they cannot possibly learn if they're sitting down all day. So there has to be occasions for them to move, and I think that's one of the good things about the group work. It is very important, in my opinion, to always differentiate between the different needs of the students. I mean, some students might not actually be able to hear you when you're giving them instructions, and you have to ensure then, that the tutor, the teacher, goes and makes sure that that student has heard the instruction. Another person may need encouragement, we'll say, to speak, and you have to prompt and mime and encourage and praise, of course, all efforts of the students to engage.
Throughout their day at My Opinion, My Vote, students are actively encouraged and supported to engage in reflective practice. Students are supported to reflect on what they're learning throughout the day, and this informs the teacher with respect to future planning of lessons. Teaching teams also actively engage in reflective practice. Effective teaching practice is linked to inquiry, reflection, and continuous professional growth. The My Opinion, My Vote education programme offers students a unique opportunity to learn about their rights as citizens and to learn about the political issues that affect them at local, national, and European level. Best practice teaching methodologies are employed at all times, and all of our teaching teams actively engage in continuous professional development. Down Syndrome Ireland is delighted and very proud to be running My Opinion, My Vote political education programmes in partnership with our branch network across the country. If you would like to participate in a My Opinion, My Vote political education programme, please contact Down Syndrome Ireland.